It sort of looks to me like something's changed. There was something under that when I was here last time. Let me come out just a little bit here. I don't see any life here, so I've gotta. Looks like people have been here. You know, it's a shame. Well, guys, I'm a little disappointed. He had told me that he had been in the hospital before, and I'm worried about that at this point. There doesn't appear to be anybody here, and it almost looks like it's been abandoned. I'm not sure. But at least I got an opportunity to bring y'all up here and let you see it. Well, I can hear music, so maybe he is still here. And the alien Mecca out in the middle of nowhere in Sanders, Arizona, between Sanders and Chambers. Get up here and show you some of the local scenery. I might have gotten here just a little too early. Maybe he's in bed or sleeping, or looks like we got a crashed UFO out there. Let's zoom in so that we can see way off in the distance there. Look at that. What's your story on this again?
Well, the story is that I always had a fascination with aliens since I was in second grade, and I subscribed to magazines and stuff. What particularly happened is that when I was right out of high school, I was hitchhiking on a road. I wasn't hitchhiking, I was walking because my car had broken down basically a couple days before to the local ice skating rink in New York. And then somebody basically came along and followed me and tried to abduct me. So when the internet came around, I said, if I hadn't have done everything right, that guy would have been able to abduct me. And so I started looking up and said there must have had cases where people weren't so lucky. And then I found lots and lots and lots and lots of missing people, almost to the extent that there couldn't have been that many serial killers roaming the country or whatever like that.
Right.
And they were all missing under similar circumstances in the woods, near water. And I wrote a story in about the year 2000 about it. And I think it was Reddit or someplace on the internet I posted it. And the next day, I had a call from the CIA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a guy in the CIA, and he he said, what made you come to your conclusions in your the story that you wrote? And I went all through it and this and that. My conclusions were that these people were being attacked by some sort of cryptid, i.e. a Bigfoot, some sort of paranormal thing, basically, or aliens. And he said, you seem to be pretty close to what the current belief is. So they knew then that something was going on,
Yeah.
but they don't know to what they know. Basically, there is some other bipedal species, that ancestors of mankind, whatever, roaming around, basically. But there seems to be more to it than that.
I see.
They haven't been able to quite figure it out. And certain things he wouldn't tell me, basically.
Right.
But he said, basically, he was curious on how I came to my conclusions, basically, and I told him my whole story. And he called a couple times, and then I haven't heard from him in a long time, basically. He might even be retired, the one that did it. And literally back in, also when I was right out of high school, I was bicycling over a rural area in my town, and I saw this big, this light in a field in the middle of a bunch of cows. And I figured, what idiot's out there in the middle of the night with a flashlight in the middle of cow? And then it started to go like this, and went up, and a beam of light came out of it, and I was bicycling. I went to the friend's house, and the light went off, and they weren't home, so I went back out on the road. Then the light came back down again. I went in another friend's house, and then it went away, and I didn't see it again. But it was just an unusual thing.
Yeah.
It was just like a light, and you could see the cows because of it, that it was so bright.
Mm-hmm.
And the cows weren't reacting like anything. They weren't reacting to like anything.
Almost like they didn't care, huh?
They didn't care, or didn't see it, or didn't know. But so then I came up here, and I said, and I had no intention of doing this.
Yeah.
Basically. But it started out with me putting up a fence to keep the cows away, and I put the green lights on it, and I said, why don't I do a campground? Basically. And I started buying aliens, which they're not cheap, to be honest. Believe it. Your average alien is, someone tried to give me one as a gift, and I said, those aliens aren't cheap. And I said, no, they're not like they're a mass market item. And then I found this service called Hip Camp. And that's great because they take care of all the billing, they give you some insurance, and it's just what I didn't expect.
Okay, so back there at the Alien Acres, the man that owns that was telling me the story of these crosses along the way. This is a cross for Will Eaton. It's got the inscription there, Lone Wolf. Apparently this was an African American man that was dumped here. And this seems to be sort of what happens out here in the desert, is that people will dump the bodies. He said he's heard on the news that there was one more that they found out here. But that's what that is, that cross. Here's another cross location. The story the man told me about this one was that this was an 11-year-old girl. Her name was Sherry. But her parents were drug dealers, and they lived back up the way out in the valley here. And she came down, screwed up one day with the daughter in the car and flipped the vehicle at this location. So that's what this is here. That's the two crosses that are on this road that he told me about.